um, and actually, I was gone last weekend, you all know, and I'm still getting reacclimated. So I'm going to beg off on a few mistakes I've made along the line. But mothers, nonetheless, you know, we take our mothers very much for granted. Once a year, we hold a big celebration. Rah, 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 moms! Matter of fact, I had to stop because I will not talk on my phone when I'm driving. So I had to pull over to get Mother's Day blessings from my daughter on the way over here. And I was late because my kids were all calling and saying, Happy Mother's Day, what are you doing, Mom? And of course, I'm not saying that they don't pay attention to me otherwise. They do. But this is a special day. And you know, it's interesting how we approach things like Mother's Day. My son, who is a widower, spent a great deal of time with his children close to Mother's Day because they missed Grandma Laura. So, you know what? We're going to repeat something. I asked Lon to read the poem on Mother's Day, and I'm going to ask him to read it again, even though we did hear it as part of Daily Word. You have it in your packet. If you'd like to join him, certainly do.
I wish you joy and laughter, no doubts or times of fear, love forever after through all of your many years. I wish you sunshine and roses, blue skies for every day, and as each day closes, starlight to grace the way. I wish you friendship's warming hand and doors that never close, rolling tides and silver sands, God's blessings, all of those. I wish you moonlight and rainbows, a prayer to wrap around your day, all the good things heaven knows, and a super Mother's Day.
You know, mothers are the nurturers of the human race. They're the ones that look out after things like children. They are the ones that keep the house in order and do the laundry and all of those assorted things that keep a house and family together. These outstanding humans continue to build wonderful lives through their children. They're always busy, always there to help. And Sabrina will now tell us about her mother and helping hands. This is Marlene's daughter, folks.
Good morning. This is called Mother's Hands. Mother's hands were busy hands, but never did they fail to take the time to tie a bow or braid a loose pigtail. And never did those hands refuse to soothe a fevered brow. So even injured dolls put through in mother's hands somehow. It seemed those hands were magic and always knowing where to start to reconstruct a shattered dream or mend a broken heart. Dear Lord, I pray as years go by, whatever life's demands, that I may give just half the love I found in my mother's hands. Is that true? Yeah. This is my whole person.
And the rewards are great. To see our children grow into successful adults, people who are affected and respected in our community, raising children of their own. What could be better? However, as they grow, there are also rewards. Have you ever had tears come to your eyes as a tiny toddler comes proudly forward with flowers for Mommy? Kelly has something to tell us about that.
To Mama with love. Some say it's just a buttercup and hurry right on by. But this quiet, fragile beauty caught a very small child's eye. A chubby hand then plucked it for Mama, his first bouquet. She pressed it close against her heart and wiped a tear away.
How many of you out there have had that experience? This great big smile on their face as they hand you this bouquet. And most of the time it's weeds, but isn't that great?
It's the thought that counts.
You know, here at Unity, we very blithely say, Mother, Father, God, or Father, Mother, God, pointing out that God the Creator was assisted by Mother, the one who takes care. And as the days go by, we look to this nurturer. We look around us in our lives. Look at your own backyard. There is Mother nurturing the earth and nurturing each and every one of us. Have you ever thought to think about what we get from earth? The Mother, the nurturer, we call her Earth Mother, we call her Mother Nature. But look at what she provides. Food and medicine. How many years did this human race depend upon a plant somewhere and a woman who knew what that plant would do to heal? It's all part of Mother Nature. And very seldom that we stop to take a look at what she has done for us. I was gone last week, you all know that. I was out in the desert. And suddenly I was very, very aware of Mother Nature and what she had to offer. I went to Joshua Tree National Monument or National Park. It is absolutely gorgeous. And you know, I began hearing things like, this is the only place in the world that you can find this. And it's true. I began doing some research, and I decided that we needed to stop and take a look at what Mother Earth has offered us here in California. You know, we're unique. The people back east don't understand us. They don't have a clue to who and what we are. And yet, they are attracted, they are drawn to this wonderful strip of land that runs along the Pacific Ocean. Let's start up in the north, where God and Mother Nature created volcanoes and snow, lots of snow that came down the rivers through the state to water the plants and take care of growing things. Like a human mother, Mother Nature offers comfort for our bodies, minds, and spirits. As I continued to look at the place where I live and connect with Mother Nature, the I had it come to me that as God and Mother Earth were creating this planet, they did a fabulous job. And it took thousands and thousands of years for it to develop to what we see today. But it was always unique. You know, as you come down along the Pacific Ocean from the mountains in the north, there is a place where the dew and the moisture is always evident, the sunlight and greatness. And in this place, there grows huge trees, some of them 7 stories tall, 2,000 years old. And when you go to visit that place, they will tell you there is no other place in the world that is anything like this. These trees will grow only here. I keep telling you, we're unique. And so I believe that as they were going down with the creation and looking this over, God said to Mother Earth, as time goes by, you must continue to look at this because it is important. And then she moved down along the ocean, and there were places where vines were growing. And then all of a sudden in front of her was this huge inland valley. And she looked out across it. And there, growing in this valley, was everything from soup to nuts, very frankly. You would find apricots, almonds, and asparagus, to walnuts and strawberries, beans to broccoli, peaches and plums, alfalfa and corn for the cattle that will produce the milk to make yogurt and ice cream. Yes, this will be the breadbasket of the world, and it is. Here in California, we have the breadbasket of the world. That it's fascinating to see all of the various. There's no place else that grows all these great group of things. They are more specialized. They do wheat or they do corn or something. But here in California, we do it all, including the wheat and the corn. And then as she moved farther south, beyond this, and when you look at the abundance of food, she's taking care of not only our spirit that we see in the redwoods, where we find the sacredness of this place. Mother Earth is tending to our bodies, that we have the food we need to be vigorous human beings. But then I moved farther south, and the land became arid. There was only mesquite and sagebrush. What could be done with this arid part of our world? And then up popped a little town called Bourez. And I stopped, and there Mother Earth had created a vast storage of borax. Now, I don't know how many people still use borax to whiten their clothes, but that's one reason for it. Also, they make boric acid, which is a mild acid that is very helpful as an antiseptic. There, in this desolate place, shone out this beautiful mineral that was so useful. And you know what else? It was a place where they did the 20 mule teams to drag it out of the ground. Looking down, this is an open mine. It isn't one they go into the earth, they open the earth. And here you see, today, as you look down, you see trucks creeping up the incline to bring the borax to the surface. When they first began mining it, it took 20 mule teams to go down. They took food down and brought borax back. And they became famous all over the world because Death Valley Days used 20 mule teams as their modal, or I can't say the right word right now, but 20 mule teams we saw on the television in Death Valley Days. How interesting. And there's nowhere else in the world that there were ever 20 mule teams. Matter of fact, those teams traveled all over the United States, showing off, of course, after the television program, how great a 20 mule team is. Of course, I have a sort of special thing here. My father, when he was 14 years old, lost his stepfather. And he suddenly was the family provider. Now, at 14, he didn't drive a 20 mule team. He said his was only 10. But he helped to haul that borax. So it does hold a special place for me. And then, as you look out over the land, you see spots of color. It's not as barren as you think. There are those yellow bushes, and along the side of the road, those neat little buttercups. And the cactus are blooming. Oh my goodness, there's color. It's beautiful. How could I have said sagebrush and mesquite and dismissed it like I did? There were rock piles, and this is the fascinating thing about our high desert. Through the years and the reactions of volcanoes and earth, many of the rocks that you find in the high desert are round. They have been rolled, and that nobody else in the world has round rocks, but our high desert does. And the rock piles are fascinating. They come tumbling down the hills, huge boulders, and they take your breath away. And then, of course, if you're going to really be a tourist, you have to go see the giant boulder. Now, the giant boulder is the biggest boulder in all the world. And it sits out there in the high desert, all by itself. Matter of fact, if you're driving out to it, you'll think you're never going to get there. And you're on a dirt road besides. But there it is, 7 stories tall. There is no larger boulder rock anywhere in the world. And you know, you look around at all of this, standing in the midst of all the rocks and the flowers, and you say, God made this for us. Mother Earth nurtures us. This is a sacred place. And then as you move on down the line, you come to what was the point of my going down there, Joshua trees. You know, I heard a story that the Mormons, when they were coming through, saw these huge plants that had great arms out. They looked like trees, but they weren't. They looked like cactus, but they weren't. And the Mormons called them Joshua trees because they felt that with their arms extended, they looked like Joshua when he stopped the earth for a day so that he could win the battle that he needed to win. There is no plant on earth anywhere like the Joshua tree or the yucca. It is so exclusive and so different that the plant species people can't put it anywhere. It doesn't fit any of the plant varieties that we now know. And the yucca and the Joshua tree are like cousins. They're real close. And the only place that you find the Joshua tree and yucca is in the high desert of California and Arizona and northern Mexico. The only place in all the world. Look at what Mother Nature has done for us here in California. Look at the greatness of this land. You know, Mother Nature gave California a unique kind of landscape, and it draws people to it. We must thank God and Mother Nature for what we have. And you know, as you travel through this area, you feel the sacredness, the uniqueness of what is the place that we live. We have been given one of the most beautiful places in all the world. We have been given the most unique place in all this world from our nurturing Mother and Creator God. And we need, I believe, on this Mother's Day, to recognize the mother of all of us, Mother Nature. And as we do, say thank you. Thank you for this wondrous possibility. Thank you for this land in which we live. I was so awestruck, and I know I'm probably boring a lot of you with my story, but as I walked in to Joshua National Forest, I knew God was there. I was absolutely struck, awestruck, with these huge plants, with the landscape that spoke God, that spoke sacredness. I had never experienced such a marvelous feeling in all my life. I didn't want to leave, very frankly. And we would get out and sit and look. You cannot believe it unless you experience it. And I know for a fact that many people go through there as tourists and, oh yeah, I see that, yeah. Another thing to put in my book that I saw. But it goes beyond that. It is sacred. California is sacred. And we live here, and we say, thank you, God, and so it is.